You know what time it is, Tony?
Half-Life 2 time?
Yeah, it's time for me to play some more source mods, I guess.
Yeah, something you always come back to.
I always come back to Half-Life and Portal, the best Valve games. It's true. I
I
mean,
thought TF2 was the
TF
best Valve game.
what? You mean Tony? Titanfall 2 is not.
Titanfall 2, yeah.
Titanfall 2 is not a Valve game. It's not a
Oh,
Valve
but it's in
game.
the Source engine though.
Yeah. So the first game we're looking at here is we are looking at Entropy Zero, a mod that came out on Steam at least in 2017. It's one of those like Valve sometimes does this where they're like, yeah, you can download this Half-Life 2 mod through Steam. It's kind of rare, but it happens sometimes. I prefer when it does that. I think both of these mods I'm talking about you can download through Steam. I much prefer when they do that
Yeah,
because it's kind of annoying to manage your games through just dropping them in your source mod folders rather than being able to just do it
yeah.
natively through Steam. Like I was looking forward to the Frontier mod coming through to Steam, but then it was like, but I'm gonna want to be playing it with mods anyway to get it to run and stuff like that. So it's like, whatever. Um, but for this, it says in the you get to be the bad guy, and this modification for Half-Life 2 Episode 2 sims the boots of a stranded Metro cop left for dead in the abandoned City 10. Um,
Okay.
so at the start here, it kind of just starts off with you fighting the rebels. That
Oh,
that was that was some bullshit, guys. That guy was he was camping.
yeah, a camper.
This is a free to play mod you can play on Steam, made by Breadman. Um, so this is set the time before the fall of City 17. So it's set 11 months before Gordon Freeman comes to City 17 for the events of Half-Life 2. It's the prequel, Tony. There's two prequels to the games that we'll
Oh,
be
and
talking
today
about.
we're following. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Experience combat without a HEV shoot. Think first and shoot fast. Lore-rich environment. Wow, that's a something someone making a Half-Life 2 mod would write. Um,
Well, where's the rich lore in this room?
there's like different things written on the walls and stuff you can find.
Okay, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe just they could have just said lore friendly. Like,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, claiming to like we add we add story to
yeah.
the what I'm like, okay, really?
Maybe don't. I mean, probably didn't intend it to mean like that, but yeah.
Hmm. But it is interesting. Like, there's always like an interesting idea to be like, "Hey, here's the game you know, but you play it from the other side. Let's see how different it is," sort of thing. Um,
That chair's too powerful, Joe.
and it is pretty interesting at first, but then at a certain point, it's like there's like a twist in the story, and then like it completely changes, and then weird shit happens, and then like I feel the longer this mod goes on, the more and more it devolves into like what the fuck is even happening at this point? It like very quickly starts to unravel. As it goes
Right.
further and further on, I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Um,
Like, cause this could have been this could like to me like it sounds like the story could be just good if like you just like try to see it from like the bad guy's perspective, like see how they see things. Like that is
oh,
interesting that they
I was
held this
pulling this
up
up.
in my
I'm
opinion.
playing it on the hardest difficulty, Tony. I'm just showing you there. The
Okay,
hardest
is that what you're
difficulty is
showing
on. No,
it?
I'm rewinding my quick save key so I can save scum. Um, there we
Fair
go.
enough.
But yeah, it starts off pretty like standard Half-Life 2 mod. It's like you're a Combine, go in and shoot some rebels. It's like that stuff's cool. That stuff works. Like
Yeah,
it's just basically the opposite of Half-Life 2. It makes sense. The
yeah,
part where it like starts to lose me is then when you're like traversing through tunnels and you get infected with like a virus and you have to like constantly go to vaccine clinics to get vaccine injections so you don't die to this virus. And it's like I'm getting like Far Cry 2 flashbacks of taking malaria
yeah,
pills, and I'm
yeah.
like, oh, what the fuck is happening here? Um, it feels like with a lot of like Half-Life 2 mods, poly mods, it feels like, oh, there's so much potential here, but it's always like misexecuted in a lot of
Well,
ways.
In this case, you feel that they felt like they had to add something different, so they went and added this storyline.
Yeah, because there's legit multiple times I'm playing this where I get completely stuck and I feel like I'm banging my head into a wall. Like I think the official recommendation for this mod is to for the final chapter is to just fucking look up a guide or something. Because it's like
Yeah.
it gets so confusing by the end that it's just like what the fuck is even happening anymore. Like I got so stuck playing this like several times, and that is not something you want to have happen to a player of any game really. But like on something like this, where if I get stuck too many times, there's a high chance I might just say fuck this and stop playing. Like it's not some crazy like AAA game where I'm just gonna you know
Yeah, well, I just it's
most
kind
people
of a
won't
shame
power
because
through it,
I
but
I would I really like the whole playing it from the bad guy's perspective, like not to be like sympathetic or anything, just the interesting to see like how they
hmm,
see like I don't know why did this train crash? Like was it sabotage or was it just bad timing? Like what's going
I
on?
don't remember. To be
Because like
honest
it'd
with
be
you.
cool like if you're being you get like you're en route on a train so you get attacked by resistance and like you're the only survivor so you have to like fight back. Like that'd be kind of interesting. Like that
Um,
to me is more interesting than I
Well,
don't know
apparently, I'm
the
reading here,
vaccine
according
stuff.
to like the store page, there's an Entropy Zero 2 coming out.
Okay.
Guys, I am going to play it. I am going to play Entropy Zero
Well,
2 for the follow
it's a
up.
Half-Life 2 mod, so
Yeah,
I assume you're
gotta
gonna play it.
gotta see how it turns out. There's like little errors. I'm like, oh, this is a really good idea. Why didn't nobody do this before? But then
Yeah.
there's other errors where I'm like, this is just straight up bad design. Like, I don't know, like it's a mixed bag, honestly. Like when it comes to mods, it usually is. There will be
Yeah.
like some stuff that's like this is really good, and then it's like other areas like this is really
Well,
frustrating. I have no
we
idea what
they
I'm
don't have
doing.
the time to like test it and like keep redoing it as either. Like so it's not in this a commercial like a normal game development, right? So it's like it's understandable.
Like if you're somebody who's like I like Half Life 2 and I don't mind being frustrated and banging my head into a wall for a little bit, then sure, this you'll probably enjoy
Yeah.
playing this on like the hardest difficulty like me as I did because I was like I could play Half Life 2 with hard mode because I've played Half Life 2 so many times, but this thing was like genuinely like frustratingly challenging, like several points throughout the game where it didn't feel fun at all. Um, and then
Just
like
can I ask you a quick question?
yeah,
When you're seeing all these doors with like a like very light thing placed in front of it, is that just meant to mean
I'm
you cannot go through it?
yeah I'm trying to open them because I'm like surely I could just pull this chair out.
Yeah, that's what's confusing. Like they're adding something in front of it to like show that you can't open it, but to me, in my mind, I'm like, yo, that's really easy to move. I'll just open this door then. Like maybe put something bigger in front of the doors if you don't want to go through them, or like have like it destroyed or something. I don't know.
The final like boss fight of this fucking game is one of the like it's definitely like, one of the hardest things in it. Like I don't know. If you want to play this without me spoiling it, turn away now. But it's basically like you're fighting like this energy Vortigon thing, and it's just like one shots you. So you have to try and take shots at it around a
Okay.
corner and then run away. And it's got like a bajillion health, and it's just I just had to
Just tedious.
just quick save spam through it because it was just so fucking long,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I just kept dying
Because
over and over again.
because like I felt like this is okay. This is kind of a tangerine, I guess. But like one thing that annoys me on like discussions online is that you say something's annoying, and then like someone responds like, "Oh, you just can't play hard games." Like, no, you misunderstand. I don't like tedious or annoying hard. I want interesting hard. Like,
Hmm.
I don't want it to be like it's kind of like this thing of you might know how to solve a problem, like you might have the skills to solve it eventually, but like if it's really tedious, you don't
It's
want to
like
execute it.
Doom Eternal's really fucking hard, but every time I
Yeah,
play, I
it's fun.
immediately want to play again because it's really
Yeah,
fucking fun.
but when you have discussions of like, for some reason, when you discuss difficulty online, like people get really toxic really quickly because I don't know why, like because it's not affecting them in any way. Like they can
Yeah,
keep
but
their hard
I
modes.
think it's like a it like almost attacks their ego if you
Yeah, they're like gatekeeping, like what makes their maybe it is just like how they because like
oh, here's a
maybe
moment
they're
where I'm
playing
getting
hard mode for
completely
different
stuck.
reasons to him. Oh, that does actually work. Okay. What the hell?
Yeah, that chair you could destroy, but not another chair.
Yeah, that's very confusing. Or it's like a piece of wood in front of one of them, so that's clearly impossible to move.
Hmm. But I've played Half-Life before, so I'm doing the battery hunt. If you've played Half-Life before, you know about just there's several things that you can just like standard things for Half-Life 2 mods. There's battery hunts, there's find the valve to open the door. There's the,
Oh God.
shoot the explosive barrel to blow something up. There's just like use a prop to jump up somewhere, which we
I
saw
have
at the
to
beginning
find
of
all
this.
three batteries.
Yeah, that's very I think that's what you have
Okay.
to do in Half-Life 2 at a certain point when on like the Jeep section, I think it is. Um, but there's standard stuff that immediately my brain goes, "Oh, I've done this before." Like I understand the context of this,
Yeah.
and then there's like stuff where I have no context, but it's also super confusing on top of that. Where I'm just like,
Okay.
I'm stuck. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I got the
Okay,
final
well,
batch of Tony. It's over. I've won. I think I plug in all the batteries, and I'm like, I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to be doing.
huh. Yeah, it's like it's not obvious what the batteries are turning on, right?
Mhm. Let's have a look. Seems like it just triggers a civilian attack. Maybe it's just hard finding the batteries. That's right, a lot of the time I'm like just walking around in circles, not sure what I'm supposed to be doing in this mod. I mean, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
There's some interesting parts, but oh, like the fact that in this game mode, the in this mod, the rebels had started booby trapping supplies, which is something you would never see in Half-Life 2. But that's such a good
Right.
idea. That's a
Yeah.
really like this mod genuinely has
Yeah.
some really cool stuff in it.
But
But
yeah, playing like where you have to face resistance, like you have to deal with their guerrilla warfare.
yeah,
That to me is interesting. Like I like that stuff. That's not really shown that often in
you get
almost any
you get to
media.
see like the rebels hacking turrets and using them against
Yeah.
you. You get to see them like sabotaging supplies, and then you still have the conflict between the combines and the infected, and then from the Zen monsters, and then also there's this constant three-way combat in the Half-Life series, which is really interesting to see from the Combine side, because the Combines
Yeah.
actually use Zen weaponry as well. They literally send canisters with head crabs on them into zones to like use it. The Combine use like biological warfare, like against the rebels. So it's like interesting to see like it from their perspective. So that's this Half-Life mod that you may or may not want to check out. And then we have a Portal 2 mod called Portal Reloaded. I talked about this on the podcast before. I showed like the trailers and stuff, and I said it looked pretty interesting. I have played the full game, and it's another one.
I would have clarified what I said earlier. This isn't a prequel. That's
That's a
just a meme.
joke. That's a joke. The joke.
Yeah.
The,
You'll see why eventually.
the joke was that it was a prequel because you should play this one first.
Yeah, and it's called Reloaded, so it kind of sounds like a remake of the first game or something.
But the joke is this mod is meant to be played by people who are like have played the original Portal games and are like very versed in its mechanics
Yeah.
and are ready for like a hard puzzle experience. Um, but
It is very difficult. I've
it
helped both you and Squad Retorts on a couple levels.
because like yeah, because it would be a funny idea if you played this one first because you would be so fucking confused.
If you just Portal, great game. Make sure you start with Reloaded. It'll help you out in the other games.
But the general idea of Portal Reloaded is the twist is it's Portal, but instead of just having the orange and blue portal, you have a third portal, which is a green portal, which is a portal through time.
Which fucks everything.
Yeah, so there's basically they're testing a time portal, and they're like it sends you like fucking I don't know 10 to 20 years in the future. So they're trying to keep like pristine conditions. So the test chain is exactly the same in
well,
like the
they're
past and the
telling
future.
you it will be slightly less pristine. Is what I think
But
what they
then
say, right?
sometimes you go into the future and then like entire sections have been like destroyed.
They're just gone.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, so it's pretty interesting. It starts you off like it would in a pool game, where it kind of shows you the mechanics by not having you have a portal gun, but laying down the portals first,
Yeah,
and
it has good intentions there.
then showing you how time mechanics work. So it's not like the beginning is pretty easy. It starts off pretty slow. I like the beginning because I'm slow.
But it is kind of required for puzzle games, I think. Like you slowly introduce the mechanics, like how they combine. I think that is very important.
Yeah, and then I think I think it was about level 7. That's the point where like the difficulty starts to ramp up, and
Yeah, it ramps up quickly.
there's something on level 7 where fundamentally your brain needs to snap and get it in order to
Yeah,
continue if you want to
yeah.
keep playing it, because it's something that the game won't tell you, but as soon as you
There's
understand it, it's like a eureka moment where you will
there's
start to understand a lot more.
there's level is it 14 or something, or 12? Whereas if you don't see the solution, like you end up getting stuck trying to do the wrong solution, and you just keep failing. And like it doesn't give you any feedback on like
Yeah.
how to get to the right solution. I'll put it that you can't see it easily. I'll put it
So
that
this
way.
this is a puzzle game, so if I explain the mechanics, it's going to kind of spoil the experience for you. So if you're like,
We're just gonna show the first, like the tutorial ones, or we're gonna show them the more complicated ones.
I don't have more complicated ones as well.
Okay, that's fine.
So I
I
just
think
have the starter
the early
ones.
ones are fine.
But I'll just give my like thoughts on the game, and then I'll like explain like the mechanic you need to get your head around, because it might help some
Yeah.
people who get stuck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll say if we're about to go into spoilers, I guess. But
Yeah. So I kind of like this mod. I like it. Again, it's a mixed bag. I like some of this mod, and then some of this mod I fucking hate.
Yeah.
It's a really well made mod. That is something
it's a
that's
very
good.
thinky mod.
It's incredibly like the actual like the way it's made is very good. But some of the gameplay designs I really don't like.
Yeah, there's he's saying before recording that there's which I kind of forgot actually, but yeah, there's like there's a couple of them where like if you fail, you have to start from the beginning.
Yeah, so Valve has
it. Really annoying.
When they design like Portal and Portal 2, it's pretty much set up so if you fail, there's usually a point to come back from where you fail.
Yeah, an example. This is not a Portal example, but the example I like to give is like you're climbing up like a parkouring map, and you get to the top, and like you put down a rope. So if you fall back down, you can climb up this rope back to that checkpoint.
Yeah, it gives you like it feels like you always have a checkpoint because there's always a point to come back.
It doesn't. It's not like a reloading a save checkpoint. It like feels it's a more natural checkpoint.
In Portal Reloaded, a lot of the a lot of like the puzzles they don't. I'm not like annoyed about because they're like so hard to figure out the actual thinking of. Yeah. It's that a lot of them are just execution testers, where it's like if you don't execute this perfectly in one go, you have to start the entire thing again.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. So this is showing the mechanic of if you move a portal cube in the present, it'll move where it is in the future, and you can't move a cube into the future that exists in the present, because if you moved it from the present to the future, you would cause it no longer to exist in that timeline, which changes the causality.
You can move it from the future to the past, though.
Yes, you can. Because that doesn't interact with the timeline of that cube, because you're already in the future.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is pretty interesting.
And you always, I could always tell like the older cube looks slightly more damaged, I guess, like dirtier.
The future cube is dirty, and then the present one is
But
pristine.
I do notice that because you're trying to solve puzzles quickly, sometimes you accidentally move the wrong cube. You go,
Yeah.
oh damn, that was the wrong cube, and now I have to go and get the cube again. That's a good example. Like you're moving like the future cube in the present, and like oh wait, I need to move the present cube. Like then you have to go and get the future cube, and depending on how they've done the puzzle, it might be really annoying to get the future cube again.
Mm.
Like that's probably it. That's a good, maybe not example, but like a good like thing that happens to explain that.
Mm. But yeah, I feel like the first half is really good, and
Yeah,
then
it's too complicated.
and then I think it just gets way too and way too high execution. Like the final couple of levels, I like the execution was so fucking insane that I think like
Joe, I've got a solution to this puzzle. If you stand there for all of eternity, that door will be open in the
yeah,
future.
there it is. The next tester will be able to solve it.
Yeah, there you go.
This is such an easy puzzle looking back.
Yeah, it's you're getting your head around like you can bring the new cubes to the past. Or
I
the
think
old,
that's a big
yeah. Because it fucks with your mind every time.
Good thinking. While it is impossible to bring a present cube to the future, this
yeah, so that was what I was showing, right?
Yeah.
The same cube in one timeline.
So that's why it took so long. First time you've encountered them.
But I think towards the end of the mod, I was like just not enjoying playing it to a point where I was like, I was so like frustrating on the execution. I think like the final chambers, I just started looking up the solutions online just to make sure I wasn't going insane.
Yeah.
Just to see what kind of execution you needed, and I was like, "This is insane. Like a normal person wouldn't be able to do this."
Well, the thing is, well, like because you've got this problem of like, because you have to start from scratch and do it again, it takes ages for you to test out an idea, and then you don't actually know. They'll put like before. There's like a couple of puzzles where it's like you can kind of understand you need to use like a future and past laser cube to get lasers to get through. Like you have to use the lasers through portals to like unlock tons and tons of gates.
Yeah.
But you might. But if you start doing it in the wrong way, you can. It's impossible for you to do, and only if you do it in the right way does it work. So then you start then questioning yourself from that point on. At least that's what I've seen from you and Scrumba doing. Like after you did that, after you either got to or did that level, you're like, wait, am I doing this right? Is this even the right way of doing it? Am I banging my head against the wall?
It's like Portal 2 has it has a lot of like actual puzzle solving, whereas I would describe Portal Reloaded as more trial and error and just over and over again until you figure out exactly what you're supposed to do, rather than you feel like you're solving the puzzle yourself.
This is a good part because you get the cube easy. You do something fuck up, you get the cube again. Like I think this is kind of like you're solving a puzzle. But yeah, there's quite a few where it's like I need to get this thing here. Let me just like try multiple routes through the portals to try and get it.
So that's something important to understand in this mod. When I move the cube that exists in the present, that
destroys future cube.
Yeah, destroys the future cube because that cube no longer exists there.
Well, technically it doesn't destroy it, it just resets it to where because when you move the future cube, it does not change the past cube. But as soon as you change the present cube, it resets the future cube to where the present cube currently is.
Right, but when I change the present cube and I have the future cube in the present, it cancels the timeline where I went into the future to get the future cube back to the present, which then resets it back to the present cube position. Can you see how insane you're going to go playing this?
So that's why these first, I think, 5 levels are to try to teach you the mechanics, because it is kind of difficult to get your head around.
Yeah.
You have to remember, because early on when I was watching you and Michael play, I was like, oh yeah, that's the wrong cube you're picking up. Yeah, you need to move that one. But now if you try and move the here's a problem. You need to move the present cube to make it go up. So you cannot put the future cube on this thing. You have to put the future cube on the lift first, and then bring the future cube in on the button to then move. And Oh no! Oh yeah. You put the future cube on the button, the present cube on the left. You go to the left, and then you lift the present cube. It will
Yeah.
destroy the future cube. Then you go up. That's the solution.
I
But
don't.
it takes a while to get your head around because
Yeah.
you have a whole other map where it might actually work on the future map and not the present map. So you're kind of
Yeah.
like, oh wait, does it work here or does it work there?
Trial and error. You just gotta.
Yeah.
I feel
So
like
it's not entirely clear which level works.
Yeah, I think like one of my favorite ones was like I think it was like Chamber 12 or 14 or something like that, where once that one clicked, it was really good. Like sometimes I would go into a puzzle and I would just play it for like half an hour, and I'd like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting nowhere, and then I would log
Yeah.
off and I'd come on the next day and I would walk in and I would solve it in like 5 minutes. And it would just be like, just looking at it again with like
God
fresh
knows.
eyes was just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
completely
yeah.
different experience.
Yeah.
But because I think I would recommend Portal Reloaded to most people who are looking for
I would,
an incredibly challenging Portal 2 mod.
I would say as well, if you are getting frustrated with a level, just stop and come
Yeah.
back some other time.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like, there's no point you just like you're not gonna. You might solve it, but it's not gonna be as rewarding. You're just gonna be like, oh, that frustration's over, and then you're on to the next level, which might be more frustrating.
If you're playing and you're finding that you're getting frustrated at the early levels, it only gets like more frustrating as it goes along. So if you find that you're getting really frustrated and you're not enjoying it that much, then I would recommend just play it for like as long as you can. Like you can, and if you're like, okay, maybe this is not for me, then just don't play it. Just play something else.
From 11 or 12 onwards, like I feel like a lot of those are like just play just like do one level a day sort of thing.
I think there's about 25 levels. Let me check how many there is.
That sounds
25 brand new mind-bending puzzles. Yeah, there's 25.
So yeah, I just like that. But to me, the later ones seem to me like quite difficult. So it's like I just like do one hard puzzle a day.
Oh, Chamber 12's a really annoying one. Yeah, that's when I got stuck on. No, that's not the laser one. That's like a flipper one.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Chamber 14's the laser one.
Yeah, that's one Michael quit on.
Yeah. Let me have a look.
If I activate a time portal and tell you the solution in the path, would that change the Tangerine in the future?
I think so my favorite chamber is 10. So if you've played Portal Chamber 10 and you go through it and you're like, oh, that was actually pretty good. Yeah, I think that's probably the best design one. I think for whatever reason that one clicks, and it's also really fun to execute, and it's more closer to like a Valve designed Portal 2 chamber. Like
I think
it's not like too complicated.
As a tutorial chamber, I quite like the one we're looking at now. I realize it's taking a while to get to like solve the solution, but I think once you get it, like you then this is up for more problems in the future.
I think this is the one I was thinking of. Chamber 4 was the one where it took me forever, but once I fundamentally understood what it was teaching me, that really helped me through the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of Tangerine. You can check out Portal Reloaded on Steam. And you can also check out Entropy Zero on Steam if you're looking to play a mixed Half-Life 2 mod where you play as the Combine there. But yeah, definitely check out these if they seem interesting. Goodbye.
Bye.